Oh,
All
before
right.
we start, we should figure out before we hit record. So what do we want to do? We want to do, 'cause I think the Nine Inch Nails episode is going to be really long. Because I've got a lot. Um, it's a pretty long album too. So, um,
It is?
isn't it?
Did I listen to the wrong fucking album?
It's, you didn't listen to Broken, did you?
I think so. I don't know.
Downward Spiral?
Downward Spiral?
You listened to this beige one,
It's-
right?
I don't know what color it
The one with
was.
Piggy, March of the Pigs.
Yeah, Piggy.
Yeah.
yeah,
Downward
it's got-
Spiral. Hurt. It ends with Hurt. Song Johnny
It's a
Cash
long
covered.
album? How long is that
It's like
album?
over an
It's
hour,
not that.
isn't it?
I mean, I guess it's not that long of an album, but I mean, Broken was a goddamn EP. So I hope you didn't listen to Broken.
Does that have that on there too?
No, it's
Let's
an
see.
hour, 5 minutes.
listened-
That's a long album.
That's pretty long, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, this motherfucker. So I added it to my playlist and it didn't put all the fucking songs in it.
oh no,
I clicked on go to album. Yeah, and there's like twice as many songs.
oh
Well, this will
shit.
be new. This will be new for me. That's fucking great. Well,
It's the
sometimes
kind-
sometimes it'll when I hit on iTunes to add it to a playlist, like an album, it'll get the sequencing messed up, but it always
Yeah,
puts
yeah.
all the songs in. I don't know why this one. I didn't even notice that. So I can comment on some of the songs.
It's a concept album, so I don't think you got the full concept.
Obviously, but
Oh, okay.
I'll be curious to hear
Cool.
what songs you didn't hear. Hopefully you heard, because there's some really fucking good songs.
there's
I
some
mean,
great.
The whole
I
album's
mean,
great, so
I can tell you what I heard. Closer, March of the Pigs, The Becoming. I do not want this. A Warm Place and Hurt.
oh
Didn't hear-
no,
you missed
Oh
the
my
Downward
God.
Spiral. You missed.
you missed
Piggy?
Reptile,
Lunar,
Eraser.
Reptile.
Oh my god, Reptile.
you missed
might be
all the
my
best
favorite
songs.
song.
Really? Man, Eric, you and I are hilarious because I think Reptile's like the one that's like, yeah, you know.
Well,
Have you
Man,
heard the live
I think the
version?
live version. Okay,
Oh.
we need to stop because we're
Yeah.
getting into it already.
Yeah.
Well, welcome back to Somewhere in Time Podcast, everybody. somewhereintimepodcast.com is where you find us online. Get to all of our stuff there. Episodes are streaming there. Links to our social media, all that good stuff. I am Eric. We've got Tim here once again,
Yes, I'm here.
and Joe is here,
Yes.
and Keith is here.
Again.
Yes. All right. This episode, we are going to be talking about The Downward Spiral by Nine Inch Nails. So, here, this one's quick and like we all know this one. So we'll play a little bit of this to get going. The weird time signature song.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that on this album, though.
7/8 and 4/4 going back and forth.
Yep. This band, I mean, we could basically just say this band is Trent Reznor. And be done with
Yeah.
it. But
When it comes
there are a
down
lot-
to it, yes.
yeah, there's
Other
a
people
lot
are
of-
playing instruments,
Yeah.
but
yeah. But yeah, Trent Reznor vocals, all instruments except where noted on the album, which I guess there would be, let's see, Chris Vrenna drums on track 14, programming, additional sampling, sound design, Adrian Blue on guitar on a couple tracks, Danny Lohner, who I think if you've seen them live, he played with them live for quite a few years, so he played
Yeah.
guitar on a couple tracks. Andy Kubazuski, drums on track 13. Stephen Perkins,
Yeah.
from Jane's Addiction and Porno for Pyros on drums on one track, and Charlie Clouser did some programming as well. So quite a few hands involved in this one, and it was produced by Trent Reznor and Mark Flood Ellis. And he also played synthesizer on track 7 and did some drum stuff on track 8 as well. So again, quite a few hands in the mix on this one, but it's Trent Reznor. I mean, it's his concept. It's his baby. So
Yeah.
Nine Inch Nails is basically Trent Reznor at this point. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it always was. It's not just
yeah,
like
Yeah.
Not-
Yeah.
yeah. It's the second studio album, although there was the EP. So, but
Yeah.
full-length studio album released on March 8th, 1994 on Nothing Records. And it was recorded at the Sharon Tate home,
Yeah.
10050 Celio Drive in Benedict Canyon, LA, the site of the murder of Shannon Tate, the famous Manson family in 1969. So, and this album is technically a concept album.
yeah.
So, I actually have a clip of Trent talking about the concept. I mean, I'll just let him say it here. Listen to this.
I know what the next record is, and I knew the title was The Downward Spiral. Had an elaborate kind of storyline for it. I had a timeline written out in a notebook. Here's the arc of the story. The Downward Spiral was the story of someone trying to find salvation through sex and drugs and self-destruction and self-loathing and trying to find purpose and a reason. The record starts to get manic and abstract, hallucinogenic even, and madness to sit in, and it's not going to resolve itself.
Yeah. So there was another quote I found where he said, "Someone who sheds everything around them to a potential nothingness, but through career, religion, relationship, belief, and so on." So basically about a person, well, he just said it, going through self-destruction, and I think the last song is actually him killing himself. So
That's kind of that's kind of up for debate. I don't
well,
know
the
if
downward
Yeah.
spiral. Sorry, not hurt. Not
yeah,
hurt.
her not her, but-
Well,
yeah, the downward spiral. I don't know if it's ideation or if he actually does it. It's never really clear. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean the lyrics talk about the hole was so small, but there was so much blood, and
Yeah.
so I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
it is
I mean
up for
this
debate, but
it's like there's a split personality or something where he's splitting off and one side of it's telling him you should just kill
Mhm.
yourself.
Yeah.
It's got this weird like Schmiegel Gollum thing going on, and
I feel like but there's a masochistic aspect to it, but because Hurt is after it,
yeah, that's what I thought. Right.
it's continuous. It's
Exactly.
not as
True.
though
Good
that was
point.
the end. He's continuing to feel that pain. So like, I mean, there is Downward Spiral, you could say, is the climax of him attempting suicide.
Yeah.
And then there's the
Right.
resolution of Hurt, where it's like, I am going to always be in pain and hate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I got out of it as well. I was never really
Yeah.
sure if he went through with it or not, but
Yeah, I always kind of, that's another thing. Like, I don't follow the entire storyline from start to finish.
Well,
It makes
yeah.
sense, but there are some tunes in here that's just like, oh,
yeah,
okay. So
like Big Man with a Gun.
yeah, it's like,
Well, and Piggy apparently is about what's the dude's name that? Well, I have it written now. Hold on.
Oh, the guy that went into Filter.
Richard Patrick,
Yeah.
who went on to be in Filter. Apparently, his nickname was Piggy, and according to the Filter website or something about them, it says that song was written by Trent Reznor about Richard Patrick leaving Nine Inch Nails.
I thought also Starfuckers Incorporated was,
that was more about Marilyn Manson and
well, definitely
Courtney Love.
about yes, but yeah.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
So I mentioned that this was recorded at the Sharon Tate house. There was an interesting little thing I found around that where Trent said that he was actually approached by Sharon's sister at one point. He said it was a random thing, a brief encounter, and she said, "Are you exploiting my sister's death by living in her house?" And he said, "For the first time, the whole thing slapped me in the face." I said, "No, it's just sort of my own interest in American folklore. I'm in this place where a weird part of history occurred. I guess it never really struck me before, but it did then. She lost her sister from a senseless, ignorant situation that I don't want to support. When she was talking to me, I realized for the first time, what if it was my sister? I thought, fuck Charles Manson. I went home and cried that night. It made me see there's another side to things, you know? So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that you mentioned that specific. I had that interview to, to talk
Yeah.
about too, because I mean, so many sides on the rock and roll thing, especially with Marilyn Manson trying to, advocate, oh yeah, Manson and Marilyn and all the other characters in
Yeah,
his
yeah,
little entourage all had serial killers and models, and oh, it's cool and funny, and we got to try and molest each other and rape because that's rock and roll or whatever it is. This case was psychos killing flat out random. Like they went there in the hopes to run into one of the Beach Boys, maybe, but they ended up, flat out killing with the expectation that it was going to be the catalyst of a class war because they were insane. And of
yeah.
course, or a race war specifically. And of course, that didn't happen. They just
Right.
flat out executed a bunch of random people. And, he bought that house and recorded this in it. And, you think like, oh, he's just trying to be cool or whatever. It's, I don't think he was trying to, you know, be like Charles Manson's a part of this.
No.
But and
No.
then you look at the fact that Marilyn Manson is what came out of his coattails, and
Yep.
it's like
Yeah, he was in the band for a bit.
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know.
But it's good that he recognizes the fact that, let's face it, trying to kind
Yeah.
of if you're recording where Manson did Manson things, it's not cool because you
Right.
know what? Fuck Marilyn Manson and fuck fuck Gacy and fuck
Charles Manson. Yeah.
every mass murderer,
Yeah.
fuck murderers, fuck anyone that's killed, But
Well, I should say, well, first I want to mention that I'm going to play a bunch of clips on this episode, and I pulled all the clips. I want to give credit where credit's due. There's a episode of the show Song Exploder on Netflix, and it's specifically about the song "Hurt," but he goes into detail on the making of the Downward Spiral a little bit. So, giving credit to that episode. But yeah, you should go check that out if you have a few minutes. It's only about 25 minutes long. So, but I'll be playing some clips from that, and I want to play a little bit here where he talks about going into the writing process of this album.
What I was going through.
What?
do you have a URL there, or are you just going to post
It's
that
on
in the?
Netflix. So just,
Okay.
I mean, if you have Netflix, just go look it up on Netflix. I don't have a specific URL. No.
What I was going through around the writing of Downward Spiral was not knowing who I was anymore. I'd seen myself as the kid in the bedroom listening to records, and I wasn't sure who the guy on stage was. Add that to someone ill-equipped to deal with attention or fame. I've always had a sadness and a sense of abandonment, I think, haunting me, and never feeling like I fit in anywhere, and always feeling like an outsider.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, I think this is their best album by far,
Yeah.
in my
Oh,
opinion.
yeah. It is.
I love the whole concept. There's not a song on this album I dislike. I think every every bit of this album is amazing.
Absolutely.
So,
One big thing to express, my sentiments towards, Trent, specifically, Nine Inch Nails, how well he can kind of encapsulate things and you know, layer things out where if something needs to be just an acoustic guitar or maybe just piano going, and then all of a sudden things explode and you've got, tones of who knows what the fuck's going on. It's the one thing I love about industrial is it's just, it added in more of a symphonic kind of atmosphere to a lot of the cooler, heavier music going on there that hadn't necessarily existed
Yeah.
for quite some time. And I've, I am not the biggest Nine Inch Nails fan. But he is, I think, considering the accolades that have been thrown at him for what he's done with soundtracks and stuff
Oh, yeah.
recently, everyone could acknowledge, his, talent and his,
Mhm.
his musical acumen, I guess you could
Yeah.
say. The guy knows what the hell he's doing, and he definitely can, put stuff where it needs to be and remove stuff that doesn't,
He's a
Yeah,
really good
he's definitely
songwriter.
recognizable too. Like I was watching the latest season of the show The Bear, and the first episode, I was watching it going, "This sounds like a Reznor score." And I looked it up on IMDb. Sure enough, it was Reznor.
Yeah.
Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor. I was like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
figured." He's got that certain thing he does with soundtracks these days. Like I think it all started with Social Network.
Yeah.
That was quite a different score to that movie. Um, but you hear it in all the other scores he's done. He's got certain elements that just kind of stick out that you kind of recognize
That's
immediately.
one thing that he's been really involved with that I think, let's face it, he's doing a great job at. So,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think he's won an Oscar. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
he's been nominated for sure. I'm pretty sure he won
No,
an Oscar for
they
one of those
won.
movies.
I know for a fact
Yeah.
he won one. I don't remember what it was for, though.
He did the score for the movie Soul, which is a Pixar movie, which I thought was fun. It's a good movie, but
I
I
fucking
I had
love
no
that
idea it
movie.
was. Yeah, I didn't know he did the score for that movie. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Super talented.
Yep. So we saw them on this tour. Tim
Mhm.
and I did. Um, at Baltimore Arena, right?
Yeah, I saw them twice actually, because they also played the Patriot Center.
Oh, okay, nice.
So I
I
saw
missed
them
that one.
both. But I went to both shows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And they're this tour. God, they were so good. Like this was when they're full blown just destroy shit on stage.
Yeah. Never forget
Like
that.
if you watch I mean, I'm sure most people have seen the Woodstock clips when they played Woodstock
Mhm.
'94.
Yeah.
They're very similar. Just destroying the
Legendary.
shit out
I
of
mean,
stuff.
yeah.
Just
Yeah.
destroying keyboards are just laid to waste.
It's like taking his foot and just like a piece of corn on the cob. It's like
Just
just
keys just
scraping the keys
flying.
off the thing with his foot. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That's one aspect to industrial. Let's face it. Rock and roll, and then punk rock came in, and it's just like destroying, and that makes sound. Well, let's face it. You create your music to sound a certain way. Well, with industrial, like fucking with it after the fact, like when you're doing it live, and literally what you guys just described,
Yeah.
breaking a goddamn Moog in half, which I hope he didn't do that, but I'd
probably
imagine
wasn't.
would cause quite a
I'm sure he was
There's
taking some like
bizarre
secondhand
sound.
bullshit
Yeah,
keyboards.
there's probably some. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
dollar
some
store
play school
keyboard.
bullshit,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah. So I didn't know. I mean, I mentioned it earlier, but I didn't know Stephen Perkins was on this album.
Yeah.
I think he. I mean, I read that there was a moment. He brought Stephen Perkins in. He played a bunch of drum beats and he sampled those on the album. So
Mhm.
it's not really like he's playing live
Yeah.
to songs.
Yeah,
But
like
that was
he could
interesting.
have, I read the same thing, and it's like Steve Perkins may have, you know, a whole whopping 20 seconds of
Right,
him has been
exactly.
used for about 40 minutes of what was done in,
Yeah.
in this album.
Well, and that one guy, Adrian Belew, I don't
Yeah.
know who he is, but apparently he's a pretty successful guitar player.
I mean, that's the one thing. Like the guitarist here, I thought was the guy who ended up doing Prick. So I should already know that because I love Prick, but
Yeah, yeah. Well, this guy, Adrian, said that he praised Reznor for his command of technology. He commented that the music of Nine Inch Nails made innovations that are, what do you say, that are in his realm. Brennan and Perkins played drums. Drum parts recorded live in the studio. The tracks were, I already said that, rendered into loop samples. Let's see what else it says here. Yeah, that's pretty much all I had on that one.
I mean, the big thing is he was, he was using Pro Tools
Yeah.
back here in 1990, four.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It was probably three.
93. Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I mean, he was doing that shit, stuff that is nowadays just, what you download for free or whatever the fuck. And you're already, all these goddamn worthless shitheads that, I'm DJ
Yeah,
Mastermind
right.
because of
I know.
yeah, fuck you. You don't know what the hell you're doing because you hit a button and you're able to come up with tones.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the what he had to do with Pro Tools back in 1990 fucking 4 was a lot different, and I guarantee you so much of the shit, the tones going on and the ambiance,
All the
kind of the
layers. So many
background, the
layers. Yeah.
background ambiance of this is just so built on you know I don't even know what I'm going to say there, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
There's so many
so did
layers to
Keith, you
each
said that
track.
you're not a huge fan. I mean, had you heard this album in full before?
absolutely. Oh,
No?
gee, please. I've
Okay.
owned this album since like probably 1995, probably.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Oh yeah, I mean, and Nine Inch Nails is a band, that's the whole thing. Like they weren't as aggressive as say Ministry. Like when it comes to my industrial, like Skinny Puppies, number one, Fetus and Ministry are kind of toying back and forth. But Nine Inch Nails is one of those bands that I guess you could say I absolutely have utmost respect for. But they were a little more high pitched, I guess you could say. Just
Mm.
there's a lot going on, and I respect everything he's doing, but it's not as kind of funny to say it, but not as angry
Yeah,
or
there's more melody. There's
yeah,
actual like
yeah.
almost pop melodies in
Yeah.
in some of these songs where you can sing along to them.
Hmm.
Right.
Which I mean, and I think Trent Reznor's he's said in the past, like we're not really industrial in the
Yeah.
natural or the purest sense of it. I mean, we have elements of that, but that's not really. I mean, he doesn't really. I guess he doesn't mind being called that, but it's not really. He's like, it's not really. You know.
The
Yeah, I
funniest
mean,
thing about that is I really feel that I mean, maybe J.G. Thirlwell at Fetus, there are definitely guys out there that add in layers of bullshit that you can't even comprehend. But he definitely adds in more of you know, I was a clarinet player growing up, and I played in my high school band and my middle school band, and we were a symphonic band. But you as doing that, like woodwinds do this, and you've got high and low woodwinds. You've got mid-range instruments, you have brass, and everything's got a place in the overall construct of it. The more you listen to all the classic, Tchaikovsky, Dvorak, whatever, you kind of get accustomed to that. And I think that he's just got a better construct of all of that because he does it better than so many other industrial bands
yeah.
that add in a whole lot of a clusterfuck of sound that
Yeah.
might really come across as cool, but isn't orchestrated well. And I think
Yeah.
that he really kind of, really set the standard, the benchmark, in that, as much as he might say he's not really industrial, he's the one who really, as much as I think all of you guys can concur, Metallica brought metal to the masses.
Yeah.
Well, Nine Inch Nails brought, industrial to the masses,
Yeah.
not at
Yeah.
the same time. But it maybe as much as he might not say, it's not really industrial. It's industrial enough to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's more industrial than anything else, isn't it?
Probably so. Yeah.
Like if you had to. No?
I mean, there are the big thing. There are industrial bands that don't touch instruments. They just
Okay. But
use the
I wouldn't
sound
know
of,
else. If you had to classify, like we just got into this discussion of the last show about like who's grunge and who
Right.
isn't.
Who's new metal? Yeah. All that, yeah.
Yeah.
But those you could say like Pearl Jam, you could say
Yeah.
I think is rock,
Yeah.
but Nine Inch Nails, like
how are they
It's
not
just-
industrial?
Yeah.
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 There's nothing better to put them
Yeah.
in. You could say
Yeah.
they're their own thing, maybe, but
Yeah.
you know.
But even with that, they're definitely not rock. They're definitely not metal. They're definitely not what, new wave. You know, you
Right.
know,
Definitely not that.
Kind of,
you know,
No.
they're
yeah.
definitely yeah. I mean, they are industrial, but they're more of they aren't weird, fucked up, stupid asshole jack off. You know, yeah, man. Look at how artistic I am. I'm
like-
using a chainsaw against steel girders to make my noise.
It's
Oh,
like a accessible
congratulations, here's a cookie. And you know what Trent Reznor's doing is actually making a constructed sound. You know, he's really leveling things and adding in layers of extra noise, you know, where he thinks it should be. And it really does create in this album. And you know, I mean, I would say he does it more the longer he's gone on. You know, let's face it, Pretty Hate Machine is going to go down as an epic album no matter what, but he definitely wasn't here,
No.
wasn't, you know, doing then what he's doing now. And right now is where he's really composing things as much as just writing songs.
Yeah.
is
Pretty
what I'd
Hate
say.
Machine compared to this album. It
Oh
sounds
my god.
It
sounds
totally
primitive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's
Oh yeah.
it's
Yeah.
but that's the whole thing.
it sounds like a guy. It sounds like a guy who didn't have all the tools that he needed to do the stuff that he probably
Right.
wanted.
or maybe all the Pro Tools.
Mm.
I mean, that's the whole thing. You got to think about the software he was using. You know, flat out, like he's using the earliest version of Pro Tools, I assume, at this version in 1994 or in 1993 to compose this stuff. That kind of shit. I mean, people didn't even have Windows machines back in 1989 or whatever the fuck. Or, you know,
But he was
whatever
using samples, like he was actually using samples of
Mhm.
real stuff. Like I said, like Stephen Perkins was coming in playing drums.
Yeah.
He was using
Yeah.
the sampled recordings of that stuff, you
Yeah.
know, and he was playing guitar solos over, you know, sampled
But
stuff.
sampling, timeout, when it comes to sampling, that's a matter of just recording to digital or recording even to analog to an extent, like in a studio, and just
Sure.
repeating, you know, the track over and over again or whatnot. So that's not as difficult as layering. You know,
Right, sure, yeah,
what was I
yeah.
saying about Ministry? You know, like the shoving a weasel into an orifice of a middle school.
No, this
principal.
has purpose and intention. Like
Yeah.
he did this stuff and
Yeah.
it makes sense. And it plays
yeah.
into a story. So it's like he's not like, I'm gonna put some spoons falling on the ground because it sounds funny.
Yeah.
Let's just do that because fuck you. No, it's like this is fucked up and weird, and it matches the tone of this
Yeah.
song, the tone of this
There's a
album,
theme,
which
yeah.
is that's one of the best things about all these crazy noises and everything. It works within the context of the entire piece of art that he's doing,
Mhm.
Yeah.
which is super cool. Just awesome.
Yeah, well, shall we talk about that? Because I mean, this is a concept album. I think you mentioned what is it? It's detailing the self-destruction of a man from the beginning of his misanthropic downward spiral to his suicidal breaking point.
Yeah.
Is what this is. And like, you know, researching for this thing, I'm like, oh yeah, of course that's what it is. Because I've owned this album since, you know, the mid 90s, and I've listened to it numerous times. Maybe that's the big thing, you know, when it comes to rock operas, if you want to say so. You know, you think about The Wall or what's it, Tom, you know, the Who's big
Tommy, yeah.
pinball, yeah. You know, they stole a storyline, and it's very easy to follow because there's a basic structure, and they actually do have characters involved. With this album, it's just song after song of like, I hate myself and I want to go have sex with whatever. You know, I mean, it's
A middle
like,
school principal.
yeah. But that's the biggest thing. Like after I read that, you know, going into this, you know, the research for this album, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay. And it never really hit me before that, you know, this was a concept album. I
Yeah.
just figured everything that he was about was about self-destruction and being depressed and
Yeah, I don't think I ever
hating.
really researched the full concept until recently. I mean, until we
Yeah,
were going
I
to do this
didn't.
podcast. So
Well,
it was very interesting.
it's based on a like larger than himself version of himself, right? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
basically.
Yeah.
he just took him and made it a character.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did say that he was, like he
This
recognized a
is
lot of those traits in himself later on. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean this album is not an autobiography, but it's definitely based on how he was dealing with things at the time.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Joe, you have an interesting perspective here because you didn't listen to the full album.
Yeah, that's interesting, right?
Thank you, Apple Music, apparently.
Yeah, when you put an album onto when you add an album to a playlist on Apple Music, I have noticed that the sequencing sometimes is out of order. I have not noticed until this time that it just fucking doesn't add the whole fucking album. So I got maybe a third of this.
Yeah.
So I mean, like
third half.
Keith doesn't. He said you said you didn't really follow the band, or you weren't like a super fan of the band.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, like I never disliked them really. They kind of existed alongside me, like in my musical upbringing.
Yeah.
So I knew they had albums, and I would hear like Tim and Eric and other people play them, and it was fine. I just never really dug into it. So when this came up as a podcast topic, and I saw what was on my playlist, when I added the album, I didn't glance at the album when I was adding it. I just saw it pop up, said add album. I just assumed it was an EP.
Oh.
So missed out.
Oh no.
But this is going to be a learning experience.
It's going to be a live reaction.
Yeah.
episode.
Well, yeah.
Although this is not an album that you can just play once and kind of go, well, that was good. I mean, it's more like you got to let it sink in.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably would enjoy it, but you're not going to get the full.
I enjoyed what I heard a lot.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess what I mean is there's so many layers to this, and there's so many sounds that it takes a bunch of listens to really have it all really sink in.
Another big thing I would say, seriously, listening to this album from start to finish.
Yeah.
You throw in the wall, you throw in whatever. It does make I mean, and I don't know that I ever really had listened to this from start to. I'm sure I did back in college, but listening to this one from start to finish and actually kind of trying to kind of read along with the storyline. There's some tracks that I just don't know how they fit exactly into what's going on, but hey, whatever.
Yeah.
That's it. A lot of the songs blend together, so it'd be weird not to. When I heard this album, it was like, well, you kind of almost have to listen to it as one big piece because a lot of them just sort of like flow to the next song and they blend together. And not all of them, but quite a few of them do.
This is also. I was just going to add. This is just. Typically, we listen to albums we've got a history with. So this was like my first one in a while where I was like, I have no idea going. I mean, I had an idea.
I know it's too bad because I did want to.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
and the ones that did transfer.
Welcome to my world.
I know. A lot of them were the songs that were on the radio or video songs. So
yeah,
I just figured, it's just a little EP. Like I know some of these songs, and
Lord have mercy.
I let you guys down.
Okay.
I'll report back next
You're
year.
fired.
I need the money.
I was gonna say we typically talk about album cover and production at this point. So like there's not album cover wise, there's really not much to talk about. It looks like the wood paneling from a 70s house.
It's like it's not even a spiral. Like dude, maybe you could have
Yeah, I don't know. And production wise, I mean it's like what the album cover it's not really great, but
but it's artistic because I can see in it my own internal pain.
Do they have any good album covers?
Well, Pretty Hate Machine was pretty cool. I had a pretty cool album cover. And the if you had, so this album cover, if you're on YouTube, that's
Broken.
the album cover. Yeah. But if you open it up, then it has kind of more album covers because there's an inside thingy that looks like that, which is super cool looking.
Because art, I feel it.
And this could have been the album cover, just the Nine Inch Nails logo. I mean, that could have been.
Yeah,
the
that's
album
cool.
cover. So there's multiple pieces that I don't know, but it's it's all kind of fragmented and broken looking. This album cover, the brown, the tan.
Oh, broken looking. Oh,
yeah. Well,
it's like his mind is deteriorating.
It's just all fucked up.
Broken was the previous EP that they released.
Yes, it was. But it's all it's like, yeah, okay.
Sorry.
Anyway, it looks it matches the tone of the album, I guess you'd say. It's all kind of just yucky looking.
Yeah.
Yucky.
Looks kind of yucky.
Yucky, icky, messy.
Yeah. Anyway.
I mean, production wise, it's hard to like, how do you judge an album like this production wise? Like, it's all over the place. It's an industrial album, so
it sounds fucking awesome. I mean, it could have
probably
absolute garbage. So
it's probably what he wanted. So
yeah,
I guess
I mean, no offense, Keith, but it blows every Skinny Puppy song I've ever heard out of the water.
I mean, regardless of whether cool. Whatever you think about a different industrial, group, the big thing about industrial, the thing that I'll stress till the end of days is that there's always some kind of oral conglomerate, just lots of different shit going on all at different times. Now they're going to have a beat, they're going to have some kind of general tempo and chord structure, but the biggest thing about it is that you don't know what sound or you don't know what's going to come next. The big thing when it comes to what Nine Inch Nails does is they orchestrate things to as we've relayed, he maybe claims he's not industrial, but the fact that he kind of orchestrates everything going on, he adds certain elements that would not have been there. Say whether organ, he might add in piano, or I'm trying to think about a specific example from this motherfucking album. Warm Place should give me easy things of like, God damn it, there's all kinds of crap added in there.
Yeah.
But, one way or another, other shit that might not be an instrument. It might just be a sound. It might be something synthesized. It could be goddamn some
sample. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. I think both
sample from
you and Tim,
obscure movie from 1989.
Yes. You guys both looked into that?
I haven't. Once we get to the tracks, I have a bunch of different clips that are
there's
all right
clips from different movies.
Well, let's get into that then, motherfucker.
Yeah, I think we should because there's a lot to talk about. I do want to go track by track because
you kind of have to with this album.
Yeah. So.
Whoa, the tracks.
Do we actually want to? I mean, that's the one thing. Like, I have not really kind of studied the storyline, so to speak, as he goes from Mr. Self-Destruct into Hurt. Have you guys analyzed it to that extent?
No,
please tell me you haven't.
Really?
No.
Fantastic.
No.
All right, then let's go to the tracks.
I do have notes that I pulled that talk a little bit as much as I could find about what the meaning of each song was.
Yeah.
So,
there's some stuff out there.
Yeah,
exactly. There's stuff out there, and I also figure that every time you ask Trent Reznor, I'm too artistic for you to understand.
Well, I was going to play this during her, but I'll play it now because he talks about lyrics and his interpretation of lyrics. I think it's.
I'm just so intelligent.
This one.
You could have it all. My empire of dirt.
He
really messed up the sound.
It's distressed in how you're hearing it. It's something
Sorry.
you have to lean in to kind of listen if you're interested.
Is there a lyric in the song that especially sticks with you today?
The reason I like to shy away from talking about lyrics is it can shed too much light on what my intent was. To me, it's about your experience with that song and what it means to you and how it feels to you. And I've had many songs ruined by the writer telling me what they meant by that or correcting what I thought the lyric was, which was way better.
So there's your artistic
Wow,
lyric.
that's
I mean, I agree with him.
Yeah, totally. That's awesome.
It's flat out hermeneutics. Not that we want to get into
Words we don't know.
modern philosophy, but postmodern philosophy. But yeah.
Well, we
That's
were getting
why
into the
Tool-
tracks. Sorry, go ahead, Joe.
That's why Tool didn't like putting that. They didn't want to put lyrics in their albums because they're like, whatever you think it means is going to be better than what we say. You know?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So ironically, I think the first two tracks on the album are probably the worst two.
What, really?
I think, yeah.
I don't
mean,
know
I
if
like
I'd
them.
say
I'm not saying
that.
they're bad. I'm just saying, like, compared to the rest of the album, I like every other song better than those first two songs. I
Mr.
believe.
Self-Destruct?
It's a good song. I just don't. I like Heresy better. I like Closer better. I like Ruiner better. I like Becoming better.
Huh.
Yeah, it's a good song. I just don't. It doesn't shine to me as one of the highlights of the album, personally.
I'm thinking that's it's fucking awesome.
No, it's a good song. Again, every song on this album is great. It's
Yeah.
lesser than the other ones, in my opinion.
Mm.
It's so fucking pissed off. Oh my god! And that riff,
And the open. So the open. This
basically-
is one of those where the opening is from a movie, THX 1138, which is a
George Lucas.
George Lucas movie from 1971. Year you were born, Tim.
As old as me.
So this whole thing right here, somebody being beaten, apparently.
Yeah.
Was this on the version you got, Joe, or no?
No.
Oh my god. Oh no.
That riff in the background almost sounds
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That little
that's good.
the little voice, and I can
Yeah,
show
that-
you. It gets more like the more into the song you get, the further you go in the song, it gets more and more manic sounding.
Mm,
It's kind of like towards the end, it's more like it's almost falsetto. It's like this really higher pitch, like it's
kind of
it's like a-
crazy, going crazy.
yeah, it's like I control you, but it's losing control. It's super weird.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And there's that part where it kind of goes into that little quiet bit
This
towards
thing.
the end. Yeah.
You let me do this to you is what he's saying there.
Yeah.
I never knew that until I read the.
Yeah. Yeah. And the way it just hits you right in the face when it comes back in.
Yeah.
God. Here's one thing that, Tim, you have noted continuously. You know, listen to this shit with headphones.
You have to.
Holy
You have
shit.
to. Makes a whole
Hey,
different experience.
Throw this crap at, you listen to this in your car, fine, whatever. Yo, every last one of you, if you're interested to really listen to this goddamn album, or really pretty much any industrial, put your goddamn headphones on
Yeah.
and buy good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that. I control you. It's higher
Yeah.
now.
Just getting it's like less and less in control.
gonna end up listening to the whole fucking song.
Like the further it goes, it's like,
Yeah. And that
Yeah.
that goes right into Piggy.
Yeah.
This is my least favorite song on the album.
I think I agree with you there. Yeah.
Cool bass line and stuff.
I
but
love the slow. Yeah, that's one. I mean, sorry, the bass line of this one is, as soon as it starts, just like, yeah, I love it. It's kind of like a slow show tune to me.
Hey, pig, piggy, pig, pig, pig. All of my fears came true. Black and blue and broken.
Apparently, the drum thing at the end is Trent Reznor playing.
Yeah.
I'll play that in a minute.
Nothing can stop me now, 'cause I don't care anymore. Nothing can stop me now, 'cause
That bass line is very Nine Inch Nails.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
nothing can stop me now, 'cause I don't care.
So I want to read this little thing because, again, the story, the song is supposedly about Richard Patrick, and this is coming, I think, straight from their website. Patrick gave the story behind his nickname. He said, "One evening, the day before some studio time with Trent, I took a girlfriend to see Skinny Puppy. I was watching the sound check, and Ogre was on the mic shouting 'White Piggy' over and over. I found it really funny. When I got back to the studio and we were setting up, I kept doing an impersonation of Ogre, and after a few minutes, Trent shouted at me, 'Hey Piggy, shut up and play some chords, man.'" And the name stuck after that. So, and I guess when he left, I guess was a catalyst for Trent writing this song.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's where it's like the concept doesn't fit. Like it's all of a sudden there's a song called Piggy about Richard Patrick, or it's like, okay,
yeah. I mean, it's one thing that sucks in this. Face it. You look at, I keep on using Ministry, but a lot of the guys in Ministry, Revolt and Cox, they work together continuously, and a lot of those guys didn't have great relationships because a lot of them were utilizing certain mind altering substances, and the other guys were just trying to make cool stuff. And when it comes to, say, the Nine Inch Nails side of things, you look at, this guy who went on to form Filter, who, hey man, nice shot. That's a pretty cool tune. His entire backing band for one tour, I believe, became the band Prick, and they don't have a whole lot, going on. But, as soon as they got created and, put out their first album, my roommate at the time bought it, and that turned into an album that we listened to nonstop. So I love Prick. And, I believe that a lot of other people that have worked with him, let's face it, under his tutelage or whatever the fuck you want to say, face it, they're still talented motherfuckers, and they've got something to create themselves. So they're not just going to sit there and be little background motherfuckers, playing the drum beat you want. Now, maybe you're going to find somebody that's going to do that, and you can pay them, a decent wage, and I'll just be like, fine, fuck it. Doing this is better than working at McDonald's. But, a lot of musicians don't want to just do what they're told. So, one way or another.
We play this this drum thing at the end. So I this is from I don't know what, Keyboard Magazine, apparently, an interview in 1994. Trent said that let's see, he said, for that part I had a rigid, weird 16th note pattern going. A kit was set up in the dining room, and I was playing along, fucking around, testing out the drums. I'd go in the other room, start the machine, run back in, put on the headphones, play along. but I couldn't hear it very good, and I was way out of meter, so I just played it as insanely as I could, so I could hear how the drums were going to sound on the tape. When I listened back, I thought, "Hey, that's pretty cool. Someday I could come back and fix it." And of course, I never did, and that was it. That was the final take. A lot of what I do is accidental. I luck into things. I think I think that due to laziness, not coming back and fixing things, they end up becoming more interesting. Um, let me play that part. Rewind a little bit. Anyway, it goes on from there.
It does, yeah.
I think it fades out with that little keyboard thing. And then goes into one of the best songs on the album.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That keyboard thing is in the next song, isn't it? Or no, that's yeah.
I mean, there's
Isn't
a
that-
lot of flow that goes
Yeah.
from one to the next.
Okay.
The biggest thing when it comes to a lot of industrial is that it kind of doesn't stop track to track. So
Yeah.
whatever sound is going on kind of ends up being the start of the next.
Remember how
That
this
might
goes
not
into it.
be
Let's see.
what happens.
This
Yeah.
is the very end.
Is that
And-
closer? Is that at the end of Closer too?
There's a motif that kind
Similar.
of runs through,
Yeah.
Well, talking about what he said about how he like lucked into it or he didn't go back and fix stuff, it reminded me of I feel like it might have been Fleming Rasmussen on that
Mhm.
interview, but it could have been, I don't know, David Gilmour or somebody, I don't know. But they were talking about guitar solos and they said he said whatever the first take is almost always going to be the best one, because
I
after
think
that
that was
you
David
start
Gilmour, yeah.
thinking- okay, you start thinking about what you
Yeah.
messed up, and yeah.
Yeah.
But that kind of reminds me that, like, yeah, sometimes you're better off just doing it and getting it done and
Yeah.
not thinking about that shit again, you know?
Yeah.
But there's an
So
element
Har-
of losing control as well in this album. That drum thing he's doing kind of matches that theme of
Mhm.
like losing control. That's what I always thought it was just like the song kind of falls apart, which is this whole album is this guy falling apart. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I
makes
I
sense.
was like, well, that's what's going on. So
Yeah. So yeah, Heresy is the next song, and the chorus of this.
Jesus Christ.
So good.
Amazing. God.
It was,
There was an-
very much an anthem for a lot of college students back in my freshman year.
There's another. Apparently, this also has to do with like exploring some of the paranoia he had as a sexually active person in the age of AIDS with this song. It actually came up on. I shared a video with you guys about like the kind of the all the musical elements of this song. That woman was like playing
Yeah.
the piano, and
God, I wanted to watch those. The videos are really long.
they are. I know.
I was
But,
I was watching them and I was like, holy shit, 45 minutes on one song.
I know.
Okay.
I know. I know.
I want to go back.
I don't think
but
I
just
watched
didn't have
all of
time.
it, but yeah.
Yeah.
But this was interesting to me.
He tries to tell me what I put inside of me. He might be sort of relating that to the sexual restrictions that he felt during this time because of the AIDS epidemic. In an interview in 1994 with Rob Hooper of the University Times, Trent said, "I was trying to explore some of the paranoia I have as a sexually active person in the age of AIDS. I guess I feel cheated for not growing up in a more liberated era. At the same time, what gets me mad is the way the right wing has used the convenience of this epidemic in helping to promote their own agenda."
Yeah.
Yeah.
As they would.
Yeah. So the bridge of this song, that same clip I just played, the woman who did that whole piece on YouTube, she also mentioned that there's like a breakdown bridge in Heresy that she said it reminded her of that slow part in Mr. Self-Destruct, and I put them together. It's
In
close,
terms
but
of harmonic movement of the bridge, the bass line has been on F for the whole song, and suddenly that goes away. You could argue that in some ways that's kind of the biggest change in the whole song. The bass is your foundation, so when it changes, you change. And then the bass line changes to... Now it does end on the tonic, but we're going places. This is the flat 6, the natural 6, the flat 3, and the tonic. I think that this references part of the bridge in Mr. Self-Destruct.
similar. I put them together here. It's a stretch, but I can see where she's going with it.
Yeah, I know. It's cool to hear that.
But
you know?
again, it's all these things were kind of connected, right? So,
Yeah.
pretty cool.
I with headphones on, I heard something right around 247. It sounds like ice shaking in it was so weird that I thought somebody was in the room with me shaking ice in a glass. Like I thought somebody had walked in, like Pam walked in. I thought Pam was in the room with me with a glass, just like I was like, what the fuck? And I was looking around like, what the fuck is that? And I was like, oh, it's in the song.
Oh wait, time out. Are you sure that wasn't a squirrel being forcibly shoved into an orifice of a middle school principal?
We got our reprises here.
Time out. This is an Al Jurgensen.
It's like, I hear it. Almost like Jingle Bells.
Yeah, or keys or something. I was like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Because again, this was a car album.
I mean, give me a break. It was probably Icelandic percussion of semigloss against, that's the whole thing. Like, so many industrial bands will use was a didgeridoo from Australia, and it's just every jack off that just like, oh, I play the didgeridoo. No, you don't. You sit there and blow into a goddamn thing that makes cool noise. Fuck you. But when it comes to industrial, it's a matter of throwing in, playing the same thing over and over again, and then adding in some kind of element. And God knows what the fuck it is. And what you just described is glass getting shaken or something.
Ice getting shaken in glass. Yeah.
Who knows? But it was probably something on Pro Tools. So it probably wasn't actual like glass shaking. It was.
No, it could have been some sort of percussion instrument that he was shaking.
Yeah, well, it could have been an actual thing, but one way or another, that's industrial, and that's.
There's a cool.
What's the horn from the Ricola commercial? Should use that.
Well, as a matter of fact, that
like a fugelhorn or something. What is that?
Taking a sledgehammer to use that was in Grossfaller's. Dirge of
I don't know is it a prick song? I don't know if this is real.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wish it was. I'm sure it is. I guarantee you that exists somewhere.
What do you say, Tim? There's a cool what?
Yeah, like right around 124, there's two vocal takes. There's one in each of your ears. So one on the left, one on the right. He's singing the same thing.
Sounds like Prince right there.
What a riff. That's so good. read something about this song's. I didn't write this down. I should have, but like the song is about him killing God. This
Yeah,
person
yeah. Oh
who's
no, no, no. I
losing
have
control.
that. I have that. A man who rebels against humanity and kills God before attempting suicide. It's like, oh yeah.
How did you?
Congratulations, you killed God before you killed yourself, because that makes theological sense, or I don't know.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I don't know what the
I mean,
what
the whole
killing God means.
time
You
I
know?
well, I could get, when it comes to the uh thus spoke there Zarathustra, fuck is his name? God, I drink too much. You know,
You're asking me for religious things. I don't know
no,
the answer to it.
it's Marx, Hegel, Marx, and Nietzsche. When you're discussing Nietzsche, God is dead and we killed him. So God is dead. Where am I going with this? God damn it! And no one cares. All right, yes, God is dead and no one cares. If there is a hell, I'll see you there. God is dead, never existed. Um, if there is a hell, it's a kind of a construct within the song that there is no heaven or hell. There is no life after death. But if there is one, I'm going to be in hell, and fuck you, I'll see you there. Is what I think he's saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, March of the Pigs. I played a little bit of that earlier, but I did find some interesting information about the lyrics on this one. So let's see. He said the pigs in the song refer mainly to anywhere from the media to people he thought were friends around him. Furthermore, he said the issue I was addressing was when we attained a certain level of success, it was surprising to see the legion of people starting to fuck with you. Can't wait to see you fail, hoping that you fuck up, ripping you off, trying to use you. The fact that American media and underground world, you go from being the darling to, well, we accidentally started selling some records, so they have to turn their backs on us. He occasionally referred to fans as pigs at live performances. I do remember that, where he'd be like, you know, fuck you pigs or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
But this was I don't know if you call it a radio hit, but this was
Yeah.
on the radio.
I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, when the break in the song where all of a sudden it's just like nice and happy, doesn't it make you
Yeah.
feel better? And that right there to me is the fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Now doesn't it make you feel better?
Makes a lot more sense now that I know what it's about. Because when he says stuff like, I want to fuck it up, I want to watch it come down, maybe afraid of it, let's discredit it, let's pick away at it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I get it. Now I know what he's saying. Why he's saying that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is it's one of those. I mean, March of the Pigs and then Closer's right, the next song after that.
I mean,
So
Closer is probably the most.
it's the most popular
Closer
song
and
on
the
the album, for
Downward
sure.
Spiral are probably the two most. Yeah.
What's funny about Closer is so the subject matter seems to be about I feel this I'm reading this, but it seems to be about a feeling of worthlessness being quelled through control over others using sex, right? So like he's controlling people using sex.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, the song was at the number 2 position on AOL's 69 sexiest songs of all time. Yeah, it's a sexy song.
That figures.
Well, it's AOL. So.
Yeah.
Oh, sexist.
These little
Such a fine line.
Yeah, so the bass drum is sampled. The opening bass drum is sampled from "Night Clubbing" by Iggy Pop, and the synth bass is sampled from the "A Poke in the Ear with a Sharp Stick" Volume 2.
Oh,
by
it's a good one.
Rare Faction.
By what?
By Rare Faction. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, no idea.
Yeah,
I think. Do you have night clubbing? Can you play?
I don't have it. Well, hold on, I might have it.
It's probably on Spotify. I think it's how the song starts actually.
Starts with the kick drum.
I mean the
well, and hi-hat, right?
The Iggy Pop I'm talking about. I think it starts with
okay.
The one that he sampled.
Yeah, I have the YouTube clip. I can just pull it from there too.
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
Here it is.
Well, it sounds different.
Yeah, so those are the two.
Yeah.
Lighter.
Yep. This song is so much better than the radio edit version. Well, I mean, that's not a surprise, but
yeah,
because that ending it goes on a lot longer.
Mm-hmm.
Can you start it over?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I just want to hear the skip drum. Huh. I didn't know it was hitting every beat.
Oh yeah.
There's that thing in the background that we were talking about earlier.
Weird.
Yeah.
Just the background.
You let me desecrate you.
This was a pretty innovative video when it came out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The floating thing.
Yeah.
You let me complicate you.
Docker, I don't remember.
Huh?
I don't remember the video.
I don't know.
I remember March of the Pigs, because I think that was a live recording, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
The only thing that works for me. Help me get away from myself. I wanna fuck you like an animal. I wanna feel you from the inside. I wanna fuck you like an animal. My whole existence is flawed. You get me closer to God.
And the end, that little keyboard thing that shows up later in the Downward Spiral, right? Or is it the
Yeah.
Warm
It's
Place?
just it's
Downward
no, it's
Spiral.
a downward spiral, but
That is.
I love those little drums in both channels.
Yeah. I can't play all of it, but like that whole section from like 5 minutes all the way to the end. The whole build up is so good.
So good.
And then back and forth in channels here.
Mm-hmm.
I love how it goes into Ruiner here too.
Yeah. Before you get to Ruiner, I'm just gonna.
Yep. Sorry.
That's not how it goes.
No, because it there's a clip from that was "Take a Chance with Me" by Roxy Music, because apparently they sample a little bit of that song too.
Oh, okay.
Not "Take a Chance on Me," but
Yeah. The on the extent or the deluxe edition of this album, there's a version called "Closer to God,"
yeah.
And the ending of that version is, God, it's so fucking awesome.
Hmm.
It's on Spotify if you want to pull it up. It's
Yeah, I got it.
it's go to around 3:15. Different.
Yeah. That is the one thing about this band is there's so many alternate versions
Oh
and
my God.
remixes, and it's insane how many. Like there's like 7 versions of Piggy.
Yeah.
You know.
And then when they play these songs live, they change them.
Yeah, they
up
play
as
different
well.
versions. Yeah.
Yeah. Add different elements. Sometimes it's better, as we'll
Yeah.
find out
Yeah, exactly.
doing this album.
Ruiner. Let's see. Trent Reznor said that it was the hardest song to write for the record in a 1994 interview. He said, I still don't know if I got it right. I have such a bad vibe from that song now, from it sucking in so many different ways that it actually is 2 different songs stuck together.
It doesn't suck.
It does not
fucking awesome.
suck. Song was great. Although we did say there is a different version which I think I like better actually.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
so this was really weird. It's not even on Spotify.
No, I had to
You have
pull
to
it
find it
from
on
YouTube.
YouTube because it's on this. It's called Further Down the Spiral, which you had to get the European version of this. to
Right,
get
because I have
version.
that, and I looked at it, I was like, that's not on here. Why is it?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
somehow got the European version. I don't even know if I got it. It's one of those things you're at Tower Records and you're like, oh, this looks cool. Because it's in like the import
Yeah.
section. I was like, oh, I'll buy this.
Yeah.
And then you find that it has this one version of this one remix of the song. You're like, holy shit. This is fucking
Yeah.
awesome. What the fuck? And then the US version doesn't get it. So
Joe, was Ruiner on your mix?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
oh no.
Well, let's see if we can play here's the original.
Yeah.
We'll play the alternate version here in a second. Let me get to the. I don't know where. Let me see. Actually, let me play this part. Sorry. So I wanted to point that out because that part where he's like, the Ruin is a collector, he's an infector, it's really buried in the mix vocally. Like,
Yeah,
you can't
it's hard
really
to
hear
hear.
what he's saying, but the version that they put out on this further down the spiral, the European version, is so much better.
It's
Because you actually hear and he like, yeah, it's just good. I'll play it. Let me get to that part.
it's a Charlie Clouser remix version. Buckle up.
So good.
Way better.
Yeah. Punchy guitar, man.
Play the beginning of that, just a little bit of it. I'm going to show you something weird. Yeah, it does this for a while.
It does, yeah.
It's probably too long, actually, but
It's like a minute and a half. Yeah.
okay. Now look up "Crazy" by Seal.
What? Okay.
This is really weird.
Just play from the beginning, or is there some
Just
spot?
play from the beginning. Well, actually, around 25 in, actually, 25 seconds in.
Is it the same thing?
I think it's the same thing. I'm pretty sure.
That's funny.
I think they sampled that.
Well, it's a remix, so he probably took that. Was this
Yeah.
out before that song?
I imagine so.
I mean, this says best of 1991 to 2004. 2004. So who knows? This is a
Yeah.
Seal.
Yeah.
that I'm looking. Let me see. It doesn't matter. That's
Yeah,
funny though.
I know. I was showing Pam that remix. She's like, "That sounds like Seal," and I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" She's like, "Play this song
Yeah,
Crazy" by
hey.
Seal, and I was like, "Holy shit, it does!" She's like, "I think it is." I was like, "I think you're right.
Good
I think
ears.
it is." Yeah,
Yeah.
good ears. Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's that remix. I mean, I'm not sure how it would have fit in the context of the entire album, having
No.
that sort of that more in that sort of techno-y remix version, but
I just like that they pulled those vocal parts. You can hear what he's saying.
yeah,
Maybe
that should have been
me
brought
up
up.
much more than you'll ever know. That's so good, you know.
Should have been that should have been brought up in the mix because that's so
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah.
That's maybe one of the only gripes I have about this album is that specific part should have been really brought
Yeah.
up in the mix because it's like,
Yeah, because
holy
when we
shit.
got it, right, when we got the album, and like, yeah, that's cool. But when you hear the remix and you hear what he's actually singing, you're like, holy shit, that's fucking awesome. You know?
Awesome. God, and he's so pissed. Like,
I
man,
know.
like, all this rage. He's like, bury it in the mix.
Right.
Dude, you're like singing you're screaming your guts out. You're like, bury it.
That's the thing about industrial, though. I mean, there's so many other things happening. He wants to make sure that his vocals aren't overshadowing, like, some random woodland creature. I mean, maybe not into a specific orifice. Maybe it's just being petted by a middle school principal.
Hey, you never know.
Might add
be
the
that.
little ambient, sound effect.
That's the prick
what he's
version.
doing. That's why, Tim.
Okay.
Yeah.
Noted. Heard, chef.
So when things are being fucked like an animal, how does that sound?
Well, we're up to The Becoming, which starts at a 13/8 time to signature. I'll play the start. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 1, 2. That scream is from a movie called Robot Jocks. Yeah, JOX. I don't know what the fuck that is. Motion.
It's a part of me. It's inside of me. I'm stuck in this dream. It's changing me. I am becoming the me that you know. He had some second thoughts. He's covered with scabs. He is broken and sore. The me that you know.
Have you heard there's like a stripped down acoustic almost version of this? It's
It
pretty
sounds
cool,
familiar.
actually.
Yeah, I have heard that, but I can't remember where.
It starts with Trent on piano.
Yeah.
Sounds like an Atari. ColecoVision.
Yeah.
Not that bad.
No, this is at least 8-bit.
Yeah.
Beat my machine.
Drums are awesome.
Yeah. It's inside of me. I'm stuck in this dream. It's changing me. I am becoming me that you know. He has some second thoughts. He's covered with scabs. He is broken and sore. Me that you know. He doesn't come around much. That part of me isn't here anymore.
Anyway, go listen to that whole song. It's pretty cool.
What was
I'm
that
sure you-
from?
Let me see if I have the note here.
Because it was, I wouldn't say recent, but like in the last 10 years, maybe.
No, because Danny Lohner was still playing on that, the live clip I
Okay.
saw. I think it was
Huh.
like 2001-ish.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
all right then.
it's good. I don't know. I can't remember where it's from, but oh wait, here we go. 2001 New Orleans. The Becoming from something called Still, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is on Spotify. But you got to play the end of that song too.
Oh yeah.
You
Oh
have to-
yeah, I know what you're
You
talking about.
must.
Uh-huh.
You must play it.
It won't give up. It wants me dead. Yeah.
God damn this noise inside my head.
Mm-hmm.
Trent Reznor has tinnitus.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Oh, there's a lyric in this song. He says something about Annie,
Yeah.
and apparently it's about an ex-girlfriend, or that specific lyric.
Oh, okay.
It says Annie, hold a little tighter.
Yeah.
He said Annie was abstractly referring to a college sweetheart / heartbreak situation that at the time I was writing that song was a valid source of emotional pain to draw from. So there you
Okay.
go.
It's like
All right,
Dave
I do not
Mustaine's
want
Diana.
this. Yeah, right, exactly. I do not want this is the song that features Stephen Perkins. It's got his sampled drum parts.
Mm-hmm.
I had 105 on this one.
It's weird that second bass drum hit is in the right channel.
Yeah,
It's cool.
I don't have much
And,
on this song.
I had hang on, 420 to all the way to the end. You don't have to play the whole thing, but 420 to the it's just I wrote down amazing.
Oh yeah. I do have to play the end because I love how it goes into Big Man with a Gun.
Yeah.
I'll just skip to that part. Yeah, this song. This is probably my favorite song under 2 minutes. One of them anyway. This song is so good. Don't listen to this episode with your kids in the car, Keith.
I mean, the biggest thing I don't get about, the storyline going on here is all of a sudden we get to Big Man with a gun, and all of a sudden he's like, yeah, I'm going to shoot, 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 shoot.
Yeah.
But,
well,
you're
yeah.
supposed to be devolving into this, like,
Yeah.
psychotics, depressive,
This is
suicidal.
another one of those.
You're not a right wing, like, yeah, it's time to
Well,
No, not at
This is-
all.
be living
no.
in Richmond.
This- I think this is another one of those that veers away from the storyline a little bit.
I think
Because he
so,
actually
yeah.
says the song was here. I'll just read what he says. The record was nearing completion. I had written those lyrics pretty quickly, and I didn't know if I was going to use them or not. To me, Downward Spiral builds to a certain degree of madness, then it changes. That would be the last stage of delirium. So the original point of Big Man with a Gun was madness, but it was also making fun of the whole misogynistic gangster rap bullshit. I listen to a lot of it and I enjoy it, but I could do without all the degree of misogyny and hatred of women and abuse. Then my song got misinterpreted as exactly that. It was probably a lack of being able to write. I've been taken out of context and it's ridiculous. So it was a kind of a response to all the gangster rap and misogyny and all that bullshit. So it's kind of making fun of that.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be making fun of that, and it's
It got
impossible to interpret that from the sound being produced.
Well,
And then
I mean,
after
yeah.
that, it goes into a warm place where it's just like, now that I have all of my guns and my ammunition, I can lay down
I don't think that was the
in my
exactly what,
warm place.
well, a warm place. This is funny. So does it start with? Let me see if it starts with this. I don't know where it is in the song, but there's a spot where what he's playing is basically a ripoff of something from David Bowie called
Oh,
Crystal
yeah.
Japan.
Wait a minute, isn't that everything he's ever written? Oh,
If I can get to it. It's this chord progression here, right here. So here's so that It's not really a David Bowie song. It's from a gin advertisement that he did in Japan.
But also, it's similar. I mean, that's the one
hilarious.
thing. Like, we are going to run out of. I'm sorry, but I've ripped my own self off musically.
Well, yeah, he
I mean, like, there's no way to rewrite something that's as simplistic as do, 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 do.
well, it's funny that the I didn't pull the full interview, but I read this online about it was an interview with when Bowie and Trent Reznor were touring together, and they were talking about this song. And Trent was
Yeah.
like, "I knew I'd heard that melody somewhere before," and I was like, I can't be the person that came up with this." And Bowie was like, "It's from a gin advertisement I did in Japan."
That's hysterical.
So, yeah. Anyway, this is an instrumental.
Yeah. Hey, this song, back in my college days with my roommates, Matt Carpenter.
Don't tell me you
who,
did drugs, Keith.
well, one way or another, Matt Carpenter, who we've had as a guest on this show, and
Yeah.
my friend Ron, we were all roommates, and we had cigarette songs. Pretty much as soon as they started, just like, you got to light up a cigarette, and this was, as soon as Warm Place started, just like, it's a cigarette song. Back in college when I smoked in my dorm room, I
Oh, yeah.
really would have to laugh if that's allowed these days. No.
Everything was black and white back then. too.
Man. Crazy days back in those mid 90s.
Well, Eraser is next, and this another great song. The lyrics don't really get going until like 3:28, I think.
Well, 329 is just like, where I'm like, yeah, totally different song.
Yeah, exactly. Like the first 3 minutes is this,
And yes,
over and over. Basically.
and then it's
Not that this is bad.
No.
exactly.
And what the hell is that noise?
I don't know.
That's
It's a Zippo.
it's industrial, motherfucker. It's probably somebody jerking off a ferret in Afghanistan. And that's what you got to do in order to make this, industrial.
Okay. Yeah, great song.
Yeah.
And now we've come to Reptile, so this is, I mean, definitely one of my favorites on the album. But Keith, you
Yeah.
were saying it's not?
I actually think this is definitely.
It's the longest on the album.
Yes, it is the longest song on the album, and it's also, I'd say, one of my least favorite. Probably the least favorite.
I think I liked it more after we saw it live, though.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean,
that's what got-
hey, that can absolutely do something to you.
So we'll play a little bit of
Sexually.
the album version, but we got to play some of the live version from Woodstock. It's so good. That opening sound is from the 1989 movie Leviathan.
I also don't comprehend lyrically in this song. It's just like all of a sudden he's, having sex and with his ex-girlfriend and doing the nasty, and it's just like, sorry, if I were twirling out of, spiraling out of control, I definitely wouldn't have a girlfriend. And if I did, she would have absolutely called the cops on me. I don't know. So this song, it just doesn't make sense in the storyline to me.
Yeah. I didn't find anything on the lyrics in this one, so I can't tell you what specifically it was about.
To me, the reptile is definitely a woman.
Oh yeah.
So that jump, just guitar, like straight E, right?
Yeah.
Live, it's so much more powerful.
Yeah.
It's kind of buried in the mix here.
It's almost not even a guitar here. It's like a.
Yeah.
I guess it is, but it sounds more. I don't know, synthesizer or.
Yeah. I'll play the. Good stuff, isn't it?
Better.
The blood of reptile just underneath the skin. Seeds from 1,000 lovers drip down from within.
I gotta play the loneliness.
You gotta play it.
Yeah.
I mean, within the context of the story, I think this still makes sense because he's talking about I'm so impure and my disease, my infection. He's talking about loneliness. He's talking about the depths I reach are limitless. He's, this is,
Yeah.
it's just more descent into this depressive, almost suicidal
Mm-hmm.
state. So I'm not sure exactly what he's talking about, but it's, he's losing his goddamn mind.
Yeah.
Play the end of that live version of Reptile because it's fucking awesome. And he,
He threw the microphone.
just threw it.
Yeah.
He apparently hated that performance.
What?
Yeah. He
Wow.
said at the moment he thought it was great. He's like, we're fucking kicking ass. This is awesome. And then he played it back. He's like, this is terrible. This is the worst. This is awful. So,
Well, they
Hey.
were covered in mud.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mud.
I think he
Also
missed
shit.
it.
Oh, might have there been feces?
There
I think
probably
there
was some
may be,
poop. Yeah.
They all got pink eye.
So pathetic.
All right.
Yeah.
Downward spiral. So, yeah, we were talking earlier about this could be interpreted a couple of different ways, but
Yeah.
I think you guys are right, though. I think that it's not he committed suicide. Maybe he attempted, or maybe his other alter ego did, or something. But
Something.
yeah,
Oh no, he foresaw Fight Club. Yeah.
But the lyrics are he couldn't believe how easy it was. He put the
Yeah.
gun into his face, bang. So much blood for such a tiny little hole. that's the reprise, I guess, of the closer in. A lifetime of fucking things up, fixed in one determined flash. So there's that, and then we get to Hurt, which I have a lot on this. I know we're well into the podcast at this point, but I do have a lot on this.
Hey, I would love to hear everything you have to say because
It's a cover of a Johnny Cash song.
yeah. I mean, I love this
So I have
tune.
1, 2, 3, 4,
And-
5 different clips to play for this one. So.
All right.
Go for it.
Yeah.
So the first one I have is basically how he wrote the song, and it's on piano. So
all right, well, that makes sense.
Hurt was really kind of an afterthought. It just felt like it could be a little coda to the end of the record that reflects back with a sense of loss and regret and longing that might make the whole record feel more powerful and interesting.
Did you write it on the piano?
I understand the piano more than any other instrument, really. I remember sitting at the piano, and I got out of the way, and I just let it come out. But I didn't want it to seem like a piano ballad. I wanted it to feel acoustic-based and kind of broken down, like the character.
he said there's that, you hear that warble through the entire song.
There's a kind of warble on the whole track to add to that sense of, I just found this recording. Here's something that feels dusty and damaged and lacking confidence in the rubble of whatever just happened.
He talks about his vocals. So just a little bit on his vocals.
I'm singing it extremely quiet. I would have guessed that would have come after a number of frustrating takes of it feeling too sung and less emotional. That's me trying to sound quiet and sincere, just feeling the weird shame and exposure of showing something intimate to the world. But it wasn't coming across right. And I remember being frustrated that I wish I could sing like Bowie. I wish I had that instrument, you know. I wanted it to feel less accessible. I needed to kind of hide inside the music. And I figured I'm producing it, so turn the vocal down.
There's some stuff he talks about with the sound, like there's some different distorted sounds and ambient sound in the song. So, this is kind of
The sound that the song actually begins with is this.
A favorite sound of ours.
What is that?
There's a guy that tuned our studio named Coco. One of the machines he uses to tune the room was this
Coco the monkey.
ancient science fiction box. It just sent out different tune noises at different frequencies, but it's a really beautiful sound. We sampled those sounds, and those became, I still use them all the time.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then this distorted strings at the end, he talks about that too. That's so good. I love that.
I loved the sound and I could never wrap my head around what it was, and I still don't understand what it is.
I was actually thinking about this sound. We've come up with a trick where we could take a note on whatever instrument it is. That sounds like strings, but I'm not, like violin, but I'm not sure if it was that. Feed it for a second into like an infinite reverb. And it gets locked into a kind of tone that sounds almost pipe organ-y a little bit. Because it's not coming out of a synthesizer, it's not quite in tune, it's not quite right. It feels human. And that was meant to turn the lights up. You've been underwater, bring you up to kind of emphasize the climax of the song.
Let's play a little bit of it. Maybe just that end part that I was just talking about, because that's like the best part of the song. Let's see. Come on.
I'm still right here.
so good.
Yeah.
We should probably talk about the Johnny Cash version. I mean, you know, it is
Yeah.
funny that people think that was like, it's the other way around. You know, people think, oh, Nine Inch Nails covered the Johnny Cash song. But no.
Drives me crazy.
I mean, it shouldn't drive you crazy. It's hilarious that you know, people are like, you know, who's bigger, Johnny Cash or Nine Inch Nails? Surprise!
At the time,
it's
I don't
Johnny
know.
Cash. No, I'm sorry, but Johnny Cash has
1994?
always been bigger than the Nine Inch Nails. And you know, him doing that version, you know,
When did he do that?
sure.
When did that come out? It was like 2000 something?
2000 something, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like when it came out, he wasn't like exactly on the radar.
Well, I think he came back with Rick Rubin and did some albums.
Yeah,
and
it wasn't on. Yeah, it was what was it called? Like something American.
American, yes.
It wasn't that one. It was the one after that one. That
Well,
he did two
time
albums
out. He put out
Rubin.
5 albums
with Rubin.
American,
American
yes.
Recording.
Yes, with American, and yes, he died in 2003.
Okay,
it was before that, probably.
Yes.
I guess my point is, your typical rock fan.
Uh-huh. Isn't a Johnny Cash fan? Because
your typical alternative rock fan, dude or girl, whatever, probably doesn't have a big knowledge of Johnny Cash's back catalog. Your typical average one.
You're making me very angry right now.
Are you? You're not the
they
typical
should.
average.
God damn it! How the
I don't know
fuck
why
are
you're getting
you
mad
not
about
listening
this.
to Johnny Cash?
Exactly. They don't.
You're not the typical.
I didn't.
You're not. You know, you like.
I didn't listen to Johnny Cash until later.
Blues, like most of your typical people, like one thing. They're like, I like this. I like pop. I like pop. Oh, this Johnny Cash thing came out. It's a song called "Hurt." I love it. That's my point. And then they're like, the fuck are you talking about? That's crazy. That's who I'm talking about. Not sure.
Okay.
Not the person who do a music podcast. That person's gonna know. They're gonna be like, "You idiot!" Of course, it's Nine Inch Nails or whatever. But the average Joe Schmo who just listens to the radio is like, "That new Johnny Cash, I fucking awesome." And you're like, "Dude, what the fuck?"
Well, hey, everyone. I mean, I think we're hitting on a great point right now in the fact that, hey, Johnny Cash listeners like me,
yeah,
listen to our podcast, because guess what? You're going to hear people talk about music that is good. And it might not be Johnny Cash. I would love we talk about some Johnny Cash.
We probably should.
Yeah, we
probably should. I'm saying you're more musically diverse than most people. That was my point.
Okay, all right.
You have more music knowledge than probably most of us on the show.
Please, dude, never ever say that again. I'm less musically talented than everyone else on the show. So.
I don't know.
We are going to come to fucking blows, motherfucker. I'm about to drive to West Virginia right now, man. Regardless,
I have a couple more things I want to play. So here's Trent talking about Johnny Cash's cover.
Then years later, Hurt It's Another Life by Johnny Cash covering it.
When Johnny Cash's cover came out, did your relationship to your own lyrics change?
To a degree, yeah. To hear it get juxtaposed on top of this huge life at a time in his life where it took on additional significance. Felt very meaningful. At the time, I was unsure about my ability to write and my relevance, and I felt adrift. That song reared up again to kind of let me know things will be okay. It just felt like a friend almost, like a hug.
Should I play a little bit of that version?
Yeah.
We're talking about it.
Yeah. It's quite
Please.
So this is from 2002, American 4, The Man Comes Around.
I hurt myself today.
to see if
Once again, the ending is still the best part of that song.
I
Yeah,
I think.
focus on the pain. You could have it all. My empire of dirt. I will let you down. I will make you hurt. If I could start again.
It's overmodulated.
It is shocking.
He's got no sustain. He's got no sustain left. But
I would find a way.
Still great.
I
There was-
will.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I'll never forget. You know, he died when I was in. The day he died, I was in a town an hour outside of Munich, and we just listened to a lot of his shit, and
Yeah.
it was yeah.
Yeah. Well, another singer who died also performed this song. Have you guys heard the version with David Bowie?
No.
David
it's so
Bowie
good.
did Hurt.
Yeah,
They
it's
toured
live.
together. Yeah,
they toured together. And it was
I mean,
a
they
live
toured together because you know, I'm Afraid of Americans. Was
Yes,
it back
they-
then?
Yeah.
That he did?
95.
Wow.
Yeah, here I'll play a little bit. It's really good. It's different, which is cool.
I mean, I imagine that's more of a collaboration than a cover, right?
Yeah, they both sing it. They go back and forth on the verses.
Okay.
But again, it's already like this is not like Hurt.
This is, yeah. This is more David Bowie.
It is David Bowie from Labyrinth.
Not even
Am I
that.
freaking you out, Brett? Bowie's in Spain.
Use your nipple antenna.
I'm gonna play a lot of this, but I don't care. I want you guys to hear it.
Hurt myself today to see if I still feel. Focus on the pain. The only thing that's real. The real tears of heart.
That's Trent.
Try to kill it all away. But I remember everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love the vocal choices he made there. It was so good. It's just a lot different, you know.
Yeah.
Great. Very good.
Yeah, that song was written, it wasn't even recorded at the Tate House.
No?
It was there's a quote I found. Chris Vrenna, he was the one, I guess he was doing the programming and
Yeah.
some drums. He said, we didn't do that at the Tate House. It was an idea Trent had been working on his own for quite some time. He came to us and said, I've got one more. It may not work. It's a really sad song. It's definitely an album closer.
Hmm.
And then they entered A&M Studios with producer and engineer Sean Bevan to work on the track. Trent was singing the words, and we're all in awe watching him. By the second chorus, I had tears running down my face, and I looked over at Sean, and his face was all red, and his eyes were all watery.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Once we got our shit together, we went, yeah, that's a great one right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Can't even imagine that. God.
I know.
All right. Well, that was a lot.
Yeah, it's a
But-
big album.
I think it deserves that level of attention, though. So
Yeah.
Well, let's start with Joe.
grading it. Yeah, I don't know. How
I'm
does
not
Joe
grading this.
Are you gonna? No.
Go back
I
and listen
believe
and
he's
come
got to.
back and
He's got to
actually
give it
say.
an eye.
I was going to say I.
Yes.
I failed with an I got an I.
Yeah.
Maybe listen to it and let us know next podcast.
Yeah, I'll see what I can
Like
do.
the whole thing. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant to 6 songs again.
No, listen to the whole album and then let us know
Oh, okay.
next time
In order.
in order. Yeah.
In order, yeah.
Okay. If you listen in reverse order, it's happier. He gets better. He throws a bullet from himself into a gun. It's that happy song.
Wow.
All right, who's next? Who next?
It's an A plus 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 plus. A plus
Yeah.
plus 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 plus. It's one of the best albums ever recorded. Period. Top 10 probably. If we don't do Desert
wow.
Island discs on this, but if we did, this goes in the box for sure. Yeah.
Wow.
I think
It's
so.
an A+ for me too. Definitely. This, I mean, by far my favorite Nine Inch Nails album. Not even close. Like this is
Yeah.
up here and all the other Nine Inch Nails albums.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
Broken more, which
That's
is
an EP.
it's an EP and it's just only a handful of songs. So I mean I've been B plus A minus. I mean this thing has got so. I mean when it comes to the overall construct of music, this motherfucker has got so much going on that you really need to kind of throw the headphones onto it. So I'll go A minus. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
All right.
There is apparently like a 5.1 mix you can get if you have a 5.1
Ooh,
system.
Really?
It's
I
out there.
have
It's
a
like
5.1
yeah,
system.
yeah, and it's got obviously it's got stuff going on like crazy. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
I gotta find that.
Yeah, let me look that up while you grade it.
Oh, I already said A+.
Okay, that's right.
Definitely. Yep. I mean, The Fragile is good too. I would
Yeah,
say
it
if
is.
we'll get to that eventually, but this is still much better.
Yeah. Let's face it. Yeah, he never comes close to what he did with his first three.
It's
I mean,
it's
what
kind
did
of
Metallica do after their first four?
They put out the Black Album, and that was awesome.
you shut your face right now. All right. So what else is going on? Keith, you wanted to say something, I believe.
Just as I hate to fucking say as usual. I'd just like to dedicate tonight's show to my friend Sean Bonner. He took his own life in early July, and fucking sucks. Death is not fun, but it's not as though any one of us getting out here alive. It's absolutely got to happen one way or another. people would know him as Sean Homer. He was the lead singer of the Homeowners from the early 2000s. He and I shared many stages together. Regardless of that, hey, if you got to talk the shit, please call people because we'd rather have you here than not. And you know what? When it comes down to it, weirdos and fuck ups and freaks like us are what makes living tolerant. So
Yes.
when you make decisions like that, please understand that you're going to cause a lot more pain to the people that love you. And hey, if it needs to happen, it needs to happen. I know. I I don't know.
No, I hear you, man.
Yeah.
There are people out there. You can call 988 or text 988
Yeah.
apparently, and that is a thing you can do if you're looking for help. So we obviously support that if you're going through something. But yeah, it always sucks. So I'm sorry for your
No,
loss.
flat out, any motherfucker listening to this bullshit, you know, call your friends because I guarantee you they'd rather have you here than not. Because again, just to state, world ain't a fucking happy place. But us fuck ups, we make it tolerable.
Yep. Yeah.
You're right.
Well, yep. Well, I'm sorry for your loss again.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Sucks.
I mean,
cheers to Sean.
yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I have that's been going on with me that's like, you know, uh maybe uplifting. I don't know.
Positive.
Yeah.
But yeah, does anyone have anything good going on? They'd be like, my child is going to college.
Well,
Isn't your
actually,
kid
Zach
going
is
to
looking at colleges. He's trying to find classes at Laurel Ridge now. It's not called Lord Fairfax anymore. It's Laurel Ridge Community College. Um, but
Better
no, I
name
don't
anyway.
know. Yeah, I know. Lord Fairfax.
hey, whatever it could be positive. I mean, that's one thing. I mean, and give me a break. Going to college and getting a job isn't positive. Finding, purpose in meaningful bullshit, whether it be in art, whether it be in music, whether it be in, yeah, I mean, I hate to say, but, being an OnlyFans model. I mean, hey, you can make a
Whatever
fuck more
works for
money.
you. Yeah.
You can make fuck tons of cash doing that shit instead of playing, creating music. So hey, just saying that is something that is happening. But
Hey, I know
hey,
something exciting. So Joe's going to see Clutch. Hopefully, Keith's going to go see Clutch with him. And that same night, or this night before, I think actually, Tim and I are going to see a Pink Floyd tribute band from Australia. So that
Yeah.
will be fun.
In Morgantown, no less.
In Morgantown, yeah. Yeah. So, oh, and we didn't mention, oh my God, we should talk about this. So Joe and I also went to see Eyes of the Nile, and they played
yes,
somewhere in time from start to finish, and it was fucking amazing. It was incredible. And not they played that, but then they played some, and they played like I don't know, 6 or 7 other songs. One of which was Infinite Dreams, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Like that's a song you don't really hear ever by Maiden
No.
live, so that was really cool to hear. Of course they played the like Hallowed Be Thy Name and Run of the Hills and Trooper and all the classics,
The
but
hits.
the hits, But yeah, they were really good, really good. So
They're coming to Winchester October 19th, right?
yes.
what bar?
The blue squirrel or whatever.
No. No.
I looked this up
It's
recently.
it's a fairly new venue actually. What is the name of that place? The backseat or something like that. Backseat entertainment, something like that.
Wait, when is that?
Yeah. October 19th. I think you're working that night, Joe.
Yeah, backseat events.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I'm working.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like something I
Figures.
really want to get involved in. Oh, backseat events.
With apparently they're playing with Sozzled. I don't know who the fuck Sozzled is,
I don't
but that's a
know.
pretty interesting name. All right. I'm gonna end this nonsense. So for Joe and Keith and Tim, this is Eric saying.
Thank you. Good fucking night.
Energy, aggression, power. To sum it up, it's a vulgar display of power.
Sometimes I think you drink just a little too much blood.
I'm sorry, I'm going to PA. Bloodaholics Anonymous.
Cut now. Cutting it up big time.
They are miserable slaves of Satan.
Some cunt's recording this.